أخواتي وخطواتي بماران بنونة وبنات سوغلت إيتان قدشتا وشليخيتا قاتوليقة مدن خطات وراي أمني ناديوم باهرمشا ثري من أبسقوبة مخبة أت إيتان قدشتا بهندستان آنتينا مريو خانان ومر أوغن أديا بالطلب من قات مقرويلة قاني قام يقروتوخون. Your Grace, will you please introduce yourself to our people all over the world? They are watching this interview live through ANB.
Good evening. I am Mar Yohanan Yosef from India. Came here last week. We heard our Patriarch is not in a good condition, especially he was sick. And we came to see him and we thought he will be cured very quick, but it's not like that. We are in a sad situation. We lost our patriarch, so whole our church is going through a sad condition.
Good evening. I am Mar Ogun Kuriakos, Episcopal of Church of the East in India, and been ordained in 2010, January 17, by His Holiness Patriarch Mardinha IV, and we are here at the moment.
Can you tell us, do you have a special like ministry, special ministry, in addition to being a diocesan bishop in India?
Yeah, there we have additional charge. I have the charge of our seminary, minor seminary, and we are trying to improve it. Now we have around 12 students there.
Oh, that's great.
6 Yamache and 6 students, they are studying in the college. And also we had the charge of I had the charge of Sunday school and 2 orphanages, and also the elder people's organization also.
Organization. How about your Grace Marogan?
Yeah, I'm in charge of youth ministry. So we got youth associations. It's Women Youth Association as well as Youth Association. We are taking in charge of that associations.
I am sure in seminary you teach Aramaic language, right?
Yes, of course.
Yes,
Not only in seminary, in our Sunday school also for the children.
Oh,
We are teaching them the Syriac language.
wonderful. You are very welcome, and we welcome you wholeheartedly here in Chicago, even though the occasion is not a happy occasion. How did you hear about the sickness of His Holiness?
2 months ago, from here we got the email. Our Bishop Mar Pavlos and also Mar Ava Royal, they sent the email. Our Patriarch is sick and he is in hospital. We have to pray for him. And we send this message to all our churches and ask them to pray for our Holiness for the speedy recovery. And we were also expecting that because in the coming May, His Holiness called a Holy Synod in Arbel. We were preparing for that, but at that time we heard about the sickness of our Holiness.
Yes.
We were very sad about this.
But during the last 2 weeks, I believe you received a special message from His Holiness that he wanted you to be there in Mayo Clinic, right, Marogan?
Yes, we got a message, an email that His Holiness wants to meet all the prelates of the
Yes.
Church of the East, and been called for a meeting, and we came for the meeting. We thought that we'll be seeing His Holiness at the hospital. At the same time, we've been expecting for the meeting as well.
I see.
But unfortunately, we are really sad to know that his sickness increased, aggravated, and although we reached here on 24th, 25th we visited in the hospital,
Yes.
and we saw him in the hospital, and 26th we got the sad news.
Did you have a meeting in Minnesota, you prelates? And what did you decide in that meeting? Is it possible to say to public, or?
Is it not really possible to say to public, because since it is not it is part of synod,
Yes.
so even though it was discussed and took some decisions, but we are not in a position to make it out since the meeting is not yet finished.
But there are few decisions that we already know about them. For example, like electing His Beatitude Mar Eishaya Shomon
Yes.
to be the head of the prelates council and lead the church during these 40 days in the absence of a patriarch.
Yes.
So
Since His Beatitude Mar Eishaya Shomon is a senior most metropolitan, and so we all selected him as the leader.
So there was like a voting system, or just because he is a senior
Since
senior metropolitan.
since he was the senior metropolitan, unanimously we selected.
How do you feel that at the present time that Mar Eishaya Shomon is filling the see and leading the church as a metropolitan, and at the same time a metropolitan of India, the late Matthias ordained Mardinha? How you prelates of our beloved church in India feel? What do you feel?
Regarding His Holiness Mardinha IV, there is a special relationship with the Archdiocese of India. Even when he was ordained, even Matthias Metropolitan, he been ordained. He was the chief celebrant during that ceremony,
Yeah.
the consecration.
Yes.
And at the same time, here towards the end, even now Mar Eishaya Metropolitan, he was giving the last Hosea.
Doesn't that tell us that in the church there is no difference between who you are in a sense of your ethnicity or color or language, or we are all members of one church, and whoever is qualified, whoever is the senior, he has for example the vote of the majority of prelates.
Yes, of course, it is something happened in a democratic way
Yes.
that been selected.
Yes.
Even at the same time, it's a Church of the East.
Yes.
So the Church of the East, it's not like ethnic
Ethnocentric,
limitations.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
There is no ethnic limitations.
Right.
So the Church of the East, it's growing, and
Yes.
it is at large. We have to see the Church of the East and the Holy See.
That's wonderful. Mariuchanna, what can you tell me about our people in India when they heard about the sleeping in peace of our late Patriarch Mardincha? What was their reaction? What are they doing now?
They are very sad when they hear about this news. At the time of the sickness also, they were very anxious, and they were asking us what happened to our patriarch. Please convey us the news, what is going on there, and why are you going to Chicago? Then we told them this is an emergency synod call by our Holy Patriarch, and we came for that. And when we reached here, we saw the condition was very bad, and we sent the message to India. Now our people are very sad, and they are saying we are not going to celebrate the Oshana or Easter. So we told them that is the feast of our Lord Jesus Christ, so we have to do the services, holy services
That's true.
that we have to observe. But at the same time, this week they conducted the clergy council. The
Yes.
priests come together and they express their condolence, and also our church parish members and also the representative council. Our church also expressed the condolence, and these days they are observing the 40 days remembrance of our holy patriarch, and also on the day of the funeral they are going to conduct one procession
I see. I
to
see.
show respect to our
Yes.
holy patriarch in Chicho.
Yes,
especially.
I remember in 2000 I was there with His Holiness,
Yes.
and I saw really, and it touched my heart, the devotion that our people had for the church and for the patriarch, and everybody was trying to touch him,
Yeah.
touch his cope, so many people attended the two masses.
Yes,
I
of
believe
course.
one of them, it was in Mariuchan and Mamdana school, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so many people. I was impressed by their faith and by their love for our
Yes, of course. Just,
church. Marogan, what can you tell me about some achievement of His Holiness in the church?
His Holiness, if you are looking in the perspective, Indian perspective,
Yes,
the major achievement, I will see the unity of the church in India
yes,
in 1995,
yes,
because that was a dream of the people, and so it came true. And so that was a leadership. Even I can directly say that that was the greatest achievement ever His Holiness could make in India. And especially based on that, the people in India could say he is the prophet of peace.
Prophet of peace, that's true.
That's what His Holiness, the name Indian people used to call him, the prophet of
Prophet
peace.
of peace.
At the same time, whenever he visiting India, even in his lifetime, he visited 4 times India. The first being Episcopa in 1967. He visited
Yeah.
India,
Yeah.
and after becoming Patriarch, His Holiness visited in 1991 January, and secondly
2000.
in 2000 he visited after the unification of
Yes.
the Indian Church.
Yes,
That was the
Parliament,
first time
yes.
in 2000. I hope you also could accompany it
I
in.
was with Barners and myself.
Yeah,
Yes,
you accompanied in 2000.
yes, yeah.
And at last in 2010, he visited all other episcopas, came to India. That was the first historical synod of the Church of the East, which took place in India.
Actually, that's very important. I want you to tell me, how did you feel that, the Holy Synod for the first time under the spiritual leadership of His Holiness Mardinka IV is taking place not in Erbil, not in Chicago,
Yes.
but in Trishore?
Yes.
What was your feeling and the feeling of the people that all the prelates from all over the world are there?
Yes, all of our prelates, even Church of the East, all prelates were present at that time. And at the same time, even the people of India, they've been they're really expecting that all the prelates are coming and there is something going to happen in
Yeah.
Indian Church. Though it was the first time, that is a historical moment, we have to always put it in golden words, in golden writings.
Right.
We need to always keep that moments.
Yes.
And that's a greatest occasion, myself and Johanna, both of us, we got ordained, even selected and ordained as an episcopos.
I think this was the first time that we have 3 prelates in India, right?
No,
No.
Or we had more?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mar Metropolitan, Mar Timotheus Metropolitan, and Bishop Paulus Mar
Bishop
Paulus.
Paulus
was,
Mar
Paulus,
Paulus.
yeah,
We had
yeah,
3.
So
This is
always we
second
had
time.
always we had 3. Okay,
Yes.
that's
First,
wonderful.
yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. In 2000, when His Holiness visited India, Marty Matis was alive,
Yes.
Yes.
but he was sick. We visited him, I remember, and there was a priest taking care of him
Yeah.
there.
Yes.
Yes. Oh, wonderful. So, what you can tell us? What else you can tell us about the achievement of His Holiness, and especially you being a member of a dialogue committee? What can you tell us in that field of dialogue and ecumenism?
Especially I have got the chance in 2000. Our Holy Patriarch told me to go to Iraq to study Syriac more,
Yes,
and send me and also one priest, Father E.V. Anthony.
yes.
He's not more now. He died last December,
God bless us all.
and we got the chance to go there and meet with our people and our church and the services all together. And after that, 2003, just before the war, they sent us to India back. And this 2010, in the Holy Synod, Holy Patriarch selected us to become the bishops of Indian Church.
Yes,
And that year itself, I got the chance to go to Iran for the consecration of our Bishop Mar Eishaya. Yeah, I was there for that. And also in the same year was the 75th birthday of our Holiness. We celebrated it in Iran, and we visited His Holiness Sister's house also. It was a very good experience, and we visited Urmia,
yeah.
and so our old churches and the places where our Holiness ministered a long period.
Yeah.
And also last October, I got the chance to go to Rome for the dialogue. It's also by the direction of our Holiness. This is a great achievement, we can say like that, because the Catholic Church are recognizing us as a sister church. It's a good sign to our church, especially in the olden days, before 13th century. We were the biggest church in the world, but now we are not that much. But also, the Catholic Church and other churches are not ready to accept us as sister churches because they are thinking we are the heretical one. But these dialogues are helping us to give them the understanding. This is the real church, the Church of the East, the old church. And we can, through the dialogue and these dialogues and all sessions,
Yeah.
our church is achieving more and more, especially in the leadership of His Holiness. Really, this is a great achievement for us. But now it's a sad time for us. We lost our Holy Patriarch.
Marogan says, Mario Khanna is mentioning about we were a great church, we were a big church, and we had members all over the world known at that time. What do you think will bring us back to that golden era, to that greatness of the Church of the East? What should we do?
So we can get back with our mission work,
Mission work.
because we need to have missionaries all over the
Exactly.
world.
Exactly.
And the mission work, if we are taking up,
Yeah.
then that is a basic way to reach there. Especially when we are thinking of our holiness. Is a visionary, even I would say, is a visionary, or what I would say, a missionary.
Yeah.
So he was working with a vision,
With a vision.
at the same time a mission with a vision.
With a vision.
That's what I would say.
Yes.
So that talent, even that we need to take up, even especially all the youths, especially those who are firmly believing in Christ, especially believing in the church. You have to take up the challenge,
I see.
so that wherever you are, should be a missionary. Then only our church will grow.
Yes.
So at the same time, when we are thinking of His Holiness, we can of course say that he is a courageous person, taking up the challenges. and going forward with great enthusiasm, more than that, great conviction, with a conviction of faith as well as a true faith in Jesus Christ, the firm belief in the church and Christ. So that sort of conviction and the faith we need to work with. At the same time, we need to inculcate in the ministry of youth.
I see.
That is,
You have been in how many synods so far? Two or two synods or three synods you have attended. How did you see the leadership of His Holiness in the Holy Synod?
Yeah, it was great. Really, His Holiness was leading us very courageously, and also directions. It was very good. And at the time of the corrections, His Holiness was pointing it out. You had to correct it. It was very straightforward. Yeah, it was very good. And also for the advice and everything.
Do you have anything to add?
Yeah, especially when we are talking about His Holiness, there is no compromise on faith.
On faith.
And there is no compromise on nation. That means that Assyrian nationhood.
I see.
As well as there is no compromise on Aramaic language.
Yes.
Always he is for the language. So whenever he visited, whenever we are meeting together, he is always emphasizing the importance of the language.
Why do you think he was doing that?
Pardon me?
Why do you think he was focusing on maintaining the Aramaic language? Why he was doing that? What was the reason?
It was, as all of us know, that this language spoken by Jesus Christ.
I see.
And so,
yes. And I believe that was the language that was binding us together. For example, if I don't have anything in common with Mar Yochana, for example, we at least we have the language, the liturgical language is binding us together, right? When you pray Khayal Maran Walahan, I pray the same. You say La Khumara, I say the La Khumara. That's one thing, and actually it's binding us even with other Semitic churches like Syrian church, like Chaldeans, like even Maronite. They use some Aramaic language, and all the liturgical books are written in Aramaic, plus the writings of the forefathers. You want to learn about doctrine of Maraprim, Mar Eishaya, Apprehended. You have no other sources than Aramaic language, even though now recently some of them have been translated. Yes. What do we expect? Before I go there, where will you see the emptiness of the place of His Holiness? In what field, in what place, where you will say, I wish His Holiness was here?
Especially at the time of when we met at hospital, Maya Hospital, we gathered together for the emergency synod. That time, really, we felt we missed our Holiness, because for every decision, His Holiness has His own way of presentation and everything, and the leadership. And last Holy Synod, His Holiness told Marapram is the senior metropolitan, so he has to lead everything. And before this emergency synod also, I think His Holiness directed Marapram Metropolitan is senior, so he has to lead everything. He directed it when he was in the bed of sickness.
Yes.
So he has, for everything, he has vision and also the direction, everything. The leadership quality, really.
What do you expect from the next Patriarch to do?
We are expecting a great leader, one who loves church, one who stand for faith in Jesus Christ, as well as for the ecumenical leadership and accepting everyone to the church, open. Yes.
Open the church. I will ask you a question regarding the bleeding of our youth. Are there many of our youth members leaving the church, attending, embracing other, let's say, evangelical Protestant faith?
Okay.
Do you have in India?
Yeah, there are some challenges from them, but I would say I'm working with the youth, and the problem is I'm getting closer to them and explaining to them what are the differences of the faith, what are the differences of their beliefs. They're convinced they're coming back. That's a good news which I want to share.
Okay.
Because once they are convinced, they are coming back to the church and they are stick on to the church. Once they are not convinced, then they are just, it's like something like losing.
Yeah, in the two epistles that His Holiness used to send to all the dioceses and parishes, he would focus on
Youth.
Sunday school and youth and choir.
Yes.
And I believe the reason he was doing that, always emphasizing, always, twice a year, and even when he would celebrate the Mass and he would preach, he would tell us, he would tell everybody, the parents, bring your children to Sunday school, bring your children to youth, let them learn Aramaic language, learn the faith, because he knew the church of tomorrow, youth is the church
They
of
are
tomorrow.
the future of the church.
Yeah, and Sunday school are the church of the day after tomorrow.
Yes.
So